Hello, my fellow storytellers. In this tutorial, I'll be showing you how to create another type of metal texture. But in this instance, it will be a metal accent texture. This texture can be used for detail work or for average decoration. All right, let's get started. So first off, we're going to delete our default cube and add our plane. Then go to shading and select new for creating a new material. Shift A for a brick texture. Then Control T for Node Wrangler. Then Shift A and search for a color ramp. Then output the brick texture to the factor of the color ramp. Be sure to set the second or color 2 input of the brick texture to the same color as your color 1, or vice versa. Then Shift A and search for Mix RGB. Then output the color of the color ramp to the factor of the Mix RGB. Then output the Mix RGB to the base color of your principled BSDF. Next, make one of your colors on your Mix RGB node black. Next, change the color ramp from linear to constant. Then adjust to your liking. I'm going to have all my bricks here for this tutorial. Then I'm going to change the mortar size. I'm going to scale it up. And change the mortar smoothness. Change the bias. And change the width. And get it to where I like it. Change the frequency here. And change the row height slightly. No. And change the row width. Then we're going to duplicate that brick texture and Control T again. Then duplicate your Mix RGB and color ramp. Then output your second Mix RGB node to the darkest color on your Mix RGB, on your first Mix RGB node. In this instance, it's the color 1 input of my first Mix RGB node. Then output the second brick texture to the factor of the second color ramp. Then adjust your second brick texture to your liking. And also, since our maps are on top of each other currently, set the Z rotation to 90 so that they're diagonal. Then adjust to your liking. I'm going to have it be around there. Just the bias, width, then height, and there we go. That's what I want. Then I'm going to adjust, well, actually not yet. We're not going to adjust our colors yet. We need to leave it like this. So then we are going to organize our nodes. Well, I'm going to organize my nodes, and then what we're going to do is at Shift A for a Voronoi texture. Control T for Node Wrangler. Duplicate your color ramp and Mix RGB. Output the Voronoi texture to the third color ramp. Then output the third Mix RGB to the darkest portion of your second Mix RGB node. In my case, it's color 1. Then you are going to adjust your Voronoi texture to your liking. In my opinion, I'm going to switch it to F2 and switch to Manhattan. Or actually, no, Cherbev. My mistake. I'm going to switch it to Cherbev, then adjust it to my liking. I know it looks a little weird now, but once we get our bump maps in, it will look pretty nice. And then adjust it slightly so that you gain a difference of everything. And there we go. Next, we're going to apply our bump maps. Look for the bump using Shift A and search. I'm going to organize my nodes. I'm going to output the bump to the normal of our principal BSDF. Next, I'm going to copy all of these color ramps. Actually, no, I'm not going to copy those color ramps. Instead, I am going to get a brand new color ramp. You'll see why in a second. So, the reason why I decided to do a brand new color ramp was because it's automatically set to linear and there's no modifications to it. Linear is important because you will get a good amount of detail on your bump map if it is set to that. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to output each texture to a color ramp for the bump map. Then I'm going to organize my nodes. Next, I am going to get a new mixed RGB nodes. Let me zoom in here. I'm going to get new mixed RGB nodes and duplicate them like so. Then put them in line, place it right here. Then we need to follow the same order that we have for our 3 color nodes. So first, put that in the factor, put this color ramp in the factor, and put this color ramp in the factor. Next, I'm going to output this to the height, then output this to the color 1 of the first bump map mix RGB node, to the color 1 input of the first bump map mix RGB node. Sorry, it's getting a little bit confusing. And then we need to follow the order that we have here. Then we're going to do the same for this mix RGB node, and yeah, that's all good. Then we're going to adjust our colors as necessary. Make them darker. As you can see, our texture is starting to look a little bit more 3D. Now this would be better, you'll be able to see this better in rendered view. So switch your renderer to cycles, GPU if you have one, and then denoising if you wish. Then move your light source closest to your material. Now snap selection to cursor. There we go. Now you need to move this up. As you can see, our texture has a bump map. However, we need to finish it. So you adjust it as necessary. All right, now time to adjust the color of our metal. So I'm going to go for a grayish metal with a little bit of a greenish tinge to it. Not that green. Let me move our light source a little bit away from it so that we can see the colors. And then adjust it. Like so. Then adjust our bump map so that it could look a little nicer. Let's go back to our pre-rendered view so that we can see the bump maps easier, or the effects of the bump maps, I should say. Let's switch these color ramps to ease for a little bit of a different effect. Let's have those sink in a lot more. Let's shift up the color of that. Have those sink in a little bit more. Adjust the strength of the bump map a little bit. Then the distance. Oop, not too much. There we go. Next, we are going to work on the roughness and the metallic map. So Shift A to search for another Mix RGB node. Output this Mix RGB node to the roughness of your principled BSDF. Next, you are going to copy these three color ramps and move them up here to your Mix RGB node. Then duplicate it, and duplicate it so that you have three. And we're going to do the exact same thing. Move that to that, move that to that, connect these three. And then go to your rendered view. Then adjust to your liking. Oh, forgot. You need to attach the textures to the color ramps. Won't work if you don't do that. So you attach those, then modify your ramps to your liking. Going to do this, and so output that to the metallic. As you can see, our material is starting to look a little metallic now. Now I'm going to move our light source so that we can test it out. Test out the metallic look of it. Snap selection to cursor. See? Let me lower the intensity of the light. See, and there's our metallic map at work. Alright guys, that's the end of this tutorial. Hope it was useful, and see you next time.